same opening here, as it looks like Hokori starting the same anyway. The Primal Beast getting removed, and OG with the Marcy removal as well.
Yep. I think no major surprises with these two bans, particularly, Marcy just seems like this hero you have to ban when your opponents have first pick. Nobody seems to want to give up a first pick Marcy. For all the people who have Marcy as most banned in their companion predictions, I think you can kind of call it a day and take your points. Marcy. For all the people who have Marcy as most banned in their companion predictions, I think you can kind of call it a day and take your points. I don't think it's changing. Yeah. What's even competing with it? I don't think Primal Beast is close. I don't think Enigma definitely isn't close. I know some people thought it might be Enigma.
I have to check. I put Marcy. I think I copied Knoxville's homework, but I put the majority of what he guessed over in my one as well. Yeah, it looks like it should be good for that one at the very least. Well, Viper does make his way into that first phase along with a Morphling. So we leave in the Razor and Undying for both of these sides. And it looks like Hokori again with the first pick. And last time going for the Shadow Fiend. Maybe this time it's time to crack out the Undying for Gardic.
Yeah, and I think this is kind of OG doing what I talked about, where it's like they're kind of predicting Hokori to change things. They're like, okay, we beat their SF. What's their game 2 draft going to be? And OG's expecting like okay, they have first pick again. They want to, this time around, rather than like first picking SF, OG's expecting them to do something like a second pick Morphling. So they just preemptively ban Morph to kind of address it. Also, they banned it because Razor was left in the pool. Hokori swapped up their bans, banning Viper instead of Razor. And I think Hokori's plan was like, let's give them Razor and pick Morphling as the Razor counter. So I think OG's approach to these first bans and this first 2 picks is incredibly clever.
Yeah, that's a great point. Yeah, straight into the Razor, Snapfire to follow. So we've got that ability with Snap to pair up with any number of BZM heroes. I've really loved the Snap support duo with your Clockworks and your Tusks able to roam around the map and kill people. But there's also like Snap Parkour, Snap with an Ember Spirit that can be your gank squad and death squad killing partner.
Yep. Well, we'll see how things progress here with the Hokori second pick. This is the big one, the one where we'll see what kind of big game deciding hero they can kind of slot in. Maybe it's just an SF again. Like it's not like the same impact as a Morphling in that you pick more if you ban the counters and you've kind of set up your draft to build around. The other option is maybe the Enigma, but I don't know. I think SF, given that you've seen the Razor, probably makes the most sense, even though it's repeating what you did a bit in game 1.
Yeah, and just looking back, it seems Hokori they like picking Undying with the Snap. Snap pick covers Undying pretty decently because a little Shredder for OG here going to be able to clear through the Tombstone pretty nicely. And another bit of a change-up, Faceless Void, which I don't believe Hokori have played through the group stage yet. He's going to make a reappearance. He was absolutely the king of regionals and last chance qualifier, though. This was the big carry everyone looked towards. Comes back here for Hokori.
Yeah, this was what the China region kind of thought was the counter to Razor. And I think during the Arlington, Texas Major, anytime opponents pick Razor, they were just like, okay, we go Void now. And now I think the rest of the world is kind of caught on that. Hey, Void is, everyone always knew it was good against Razor, but I think they really showed like you can actually first face Void against Razor because of how good the matchup is.
Yeah, like the puck ban. Like I was saying, very good partner with a Snapfire. And now we start getting rid of some of these Vitaly heroes. He's a Broodmother player himself, so we'll see if OG here, ban out the Beastmaster, the Broodmother, some of these summons heroes that Vitaly likes to grab.
Yeah, I guess the Lycan's the other one, but I'm trying to think what you want to pair with a Faceless Void. I think Beastmaster always feels like one of the best when it comes to buffing up carries. Otherwise, I think one of the things Hokori lack right now is just damage into that Chronosphere. It doesn't have to come from the offlaner. If anything, there's more mid laners and supports that can dish out damage in the Chrono. Maybe something where OG's worried about like an Invoker type pick here. But I think Hokori definitely looking at Undying Void. The one glaring missing component is just damage.
That's where heroes like Zeus or something come in, right? There's raw damage from the mid lane. Dump it into that Chrono.
Zeus does not look particularly good, unfortunately. I'm a big Zeus fan, but the hero's won 33% of his games so far, so it's not been a very good Zeus tournament.
No, not been super hot. I guess there's lots like the power creep in terms of initiation spells. There's been a lot of heroes that have had buffs and tweaks to their mobility, and there's a lot of prominence of spirits and the ability just to gap close onto the Zeus that makes his life pretty miserable.
Yeah, and we even saw that game where it was like Zeus against like TP and stuff, and it just felt like the Zeus just wasn't doing Zeus things in the game for whatever reason. And then the getting the heaven. That's the thing. Everyone's like got so angry about this heavenly jump, giving Zeus a escape spell. That's not the identity of the hero, but Zeus lost some damage in order to get that spell, losing the passive. So as like a built-in spell. So it wasn't like it was a buff with a nerf kind of attached to it.
Yeah, it sure was. Digging deep here, Hokori. I got rid of the Slardar, which is kind of an interesting one, seeing the Razor is already out there and likely in the hands of Amar. But I guess, OG known for their lane swaps and being able to put heroes on multiple players. It could have been a Yuragi Razor and then put the Slardar against the Void, which makes things much more difficult for the Faceless Void. And looking at the way Yuragi's been playing, it feels this is the thing. You ban out the Naga Siren now, and it feels like Yuragi's been practicing all of these summons and micro heroes or something, because Naga's been one of his big ones. Now the Broodmother he's shown. I mean, the next logical step for me is like a Meepo or something to be picked by Yuragi.
For now, they'll go for the support. They get a hero that Void doesn't particularly like playing into. It gives you a way to stun, silence him, prevent him getting that time walk and escape off. I was wondering if OG were going to consider going for another Broodmother, but at least not with their opening pick, their 5th pick. They're going to consider that.
5 seconds remaining.
Well, time to look for damage for Hokori.
Yeah.
They've got their 5, their 1, so a Theolacor hero or a Vitali hero are likely to come out now.
They've used a lot of reserve time, and this is like the trickiest part of the draft to me, where it's like you got to pick 2 heroes pretty blindly. You've seen this Razor from the very get-go, and all you've seen since then is 2 supports. So you just have to pick stuff that fits your draft because you don't really see anything that needs countering. There's some damage, yeah.
Yeah, some pretty big damage. Sharpshooter into Chrono, not too bad, and a bit of catch from your position 4, always very nice to have. This is where I'd like to see, I don't know, like a DP or something for the position 3, because none of these heroes really hit towers or play off of tempo. They're all very good in lanes, decent at team fighting, but having someone who can actually frontline and break down buildings, okay, all the Vitali Brood, there we go, yeah, smiles all across the board for them.
Yeah, OG get some, they get 2 picks to address this though, and there's no like immediate bans. To protect the Brood as well, so they want that like Kunkka or something. It's definitely an option and available to them.
5 seconds remaining.
Yeah, Kunkka would be pretty nice. There's a hero that both Snap and Earth Spirit can move into that mid lane and help out. But both OG supports very good at guarding runes and playing actively like out of the lanes. Both good in the lanes, but once they start breaking them down and moving around, this pairing of heroes is incredibly strong.
When I see like Earth Spirit, Snapfire, and they've got an offlane Razor, I'm thinking you want a mid hero that has like Kill Threat and Catch and Chase. The Ember Spirits, Kunkka is obviously fine, but you don't have to go fully address the Spiderlings with some big AoE damage. Like you've got okay already between Razor, Snap, or Earth Spirit. If there's something else that like fits your drop better than a Kunkka, I think OG's fine to go for that as well.
I'm wondering what else they're considering. Like, Invoker wouldn't be too bad either. We've seen this Exort Invoker do very well. And he's not really going to interact with the Brood for quite some time in the game. We're not going to see this. It's going to be a 3 Brood. It's a Vitali special, so unlikely it's going to be heading anywhere other than the offlane. Looks like Misha's shaking his head saying, no Invoker. Let's just pick the Ember Spirit. That's the best option we've got.
Yeah, they were really thinking things through here after the Broodmother came out, and this is, I think, totally fine. Use your reserve time here. It's going to be pretty clear what direction they need to go for their last pick. They're going to have their roles at least established. So, OG want to make sure they get this key pick of their draft correct. And it's not just the Brood they've got to worry about. It's also the Void, who's somewhat addressed by the Earth Spirit, but hasn't been like maybe fully addressed. They perhaps are going to feel like they want cores that also make the Void's life a bit difficult.
Yeah, like a Bat Rider or something, being able to drag him around, chase him down. But for now, it's an Alchemist for OG. Is this the answer to the Brood, the Acid Spray, the Radiance?
I mean, it's something that, will happily eat spiders alive. It's not like they were felt like this is like a dream counter pick. Otherwise, they would have, I think, used much less time and just insta-picked it. But definitely in the past, like you pick Alk against Brood, and if you find a way to farm spiderlings, like you're just in heaven as an Alk player. So a solid pick. It's also a hero that I think, Void drafts are a bit slow. Like you're trying to farm a couple of items on Void. You only really fight around the Chrono when it's on cooldown. You're not looking to fight. So a hero like Alchemist can often be, pretty comfortable and to succeed when you're up against a Void draft.
And it's so difficult for me to look at OG draft and not think about like the mind games that they could pull, because they're so very good at that. It's like, what if the Alk is a mid hero? What if he's not safe lane? What if this Razor goes here? What if Snapfire's mid? And they've got all these potential options for themselves.
Yep.
I do get rid of the Ember Spirit though, Hokori, knowing that's one of the big options for them.
Yeah, they're going to get rid of, I think, Alk Razor, you want a mid lane playmaker. They're almost certainly banning. Maybe they ban the Kunkka as well. I think it's kind of that playmaker that also addresses Brood. Yep, there we go. Kunkka banned. And then for OG, mid laners who deal damage, like the Invoker Void combo, an obvious one. Otherwise, you mentioned the Zeus, I think, could be a ban. Puck is already banned, so we'll see what kind of damage they find for the Void. There's like your Lenas. It's not easy, I think, to find reliable mid laners here to round out their draft, though.
Yeah, I mean, if it's analog, we're kind of talking about his hero pool. Yes, he's diversified, but it still feels like he's got a hero pool of maybe 4 or 5 heroes that he's very comfortable on, and a lot of these have been banned or they're not really viable right now.
I don't think you want to go too greedy. Like the Lina, I think the downside there is it's kind of greedy, like needs a lot of farm alongside Void and Brood. May just be one of the better options. There's like a Death Prophet as well. But definitely a tricky pick given what OG have done with this Alk.
Thanks. It feels like you want a little bit of tower push, a little bit of damage, a little bit of team fight, but I'll go back for the Zeus as that option as the final pick. OG, though, they've got the ability to counter this. Oh, that's not a good sign for Hokori, is it? Look at the grins. BZM, what have you got in store for us now?
Yeah, I feel like mid laners are so happy when the enemy picks Zeus. It's just like this squishy mid laner that anytime you get on top of Zeus, all the hero does is like run away, heavenly jump. Like he's just thinking of all the fun heroes he can play and make Zeus's life hard. And it's going to be Void Spirit. So, a different spirit, but one that can cause a lot of problems this game.
Yeah, Void Spirit and Earth Spirit together on one team. And it's like Uragi has the Frankenstein Alchemist set, and he's all ready to batter away at some spiders and zombies. And you can't get the Grievel's Greed off of zombies, right? They changed that quite some time back.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah. Because you see the numbers, you see the numbers above their heads, but you don't get the gold from it.
Okay. I'll trust you.
I'm pretty certain about that, because
Yeah.
I think I said he's farming. Oh, look, he's farming zombies, and Lacosta's like, shut up, idiot. you don't get the gold from it.
Yeah. I was like, I feel like I remember this change, but I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah. Because I think there was a period of it like being like bugged or not working correctly, but we'll see how well Uragi does dealing with this Vitaly Broodmother heading into game 2. OG up against Hokori, and it's like you said, right? We've had some adaptations here in the draft to try and move things around. And Broodmother still a key element, though, in this best of 2.
Oh, yeah. We'll see if they've got enough to address this Brood, or if the hero does kind of come online and snowball this game. If you get those spilings up early, Alk can farm them, but without, the Radiance and whatnot, I think you just take over that lane. Like, Alk is going to be forced out of the lane and into the jungle at some point.
A pretty important one here, as well as OG looking to try and cement their spot up at the top of Group A, and Hokori trying to keep the consistency going, trying to get another 1-1 under their belt to stay in the running here. I mean, it's looking pretty good for them so far to qualify through to the playoffs, but everyone's aiming for that upper bracket with a safety net of that double elimination as Game 2 underway. And both teams smoking as 5 to try and traverse across the map as quickly as possible. It looks like BZM is going to get to mid lane just a little bit faster, though, for his early observer ward.
Yeah, he gets the opposite side as well, so that's going to be a tricky one to find and de-ward. It is Zeus, but Zeus doesn't usually get the lightning bolt early. We're seeing, you know, mostly the arc lightning and heavenly jump even being leveled up. Sometimes there's a value point, but even that is not a guarantee by any means.
And it looked like the smoke broke on him, but I don't think Zeus actually caught a glimpse of him as the fight breaks out down bottom. They do get that concoction onto Gardic, and with OG having 3 heroes down here, chasing the Undying back for Misha's first blood.
Not the ideal hero to get it, but he had to take it because Undying's decay was just about to come off cooldown, and he would have got a 3-hero decay. So, yeah, Misha getting tipped like, all right, 5-position player, taking these kills. What's going on here? But
what did he buy? That's the important thing.
Yeah, buy some salves and mangoes, please. Yeah, double mango, tango, sentry ward. Perfect.
Very nice.
That's
Tons of regen.
That's your job. Yeah, forget buying salves. We're back to buying tangos again for lane partners with the salve changes. So
he's got a lot of regen. He's already started with a set of tangos, 2 mangoes, ring of protection for Snap. So going to be doubling up on that regen. Keep Uragi in fighting shape because he is against an Undying Broodmother lane. Some real toxic stuff from Hokori.
Yeah, it's definitely not ideal, and sending the Undying down here for the Alchemist to play into. He's gone for level 1 stun. It got them the first blood, but this is not really the ideal spell, I feel like, to play the lane with, so we'll see how much that impacts Uragi. He's just going to be casually harassing and throwing it out off cooldown just to get some good damage out, and it does seem like, you know, having stun is actually going to work out okay for him.
It's not too bad, but I think you're right. It's not ideal. Usually you want that level 1 acid spray to kind of push the lane, get early level 2, allow your support to pull, and then you control lane equilibrium around it. You should get that. Eventually, though, as we see across all 3 lanes there, Zeus against the Void Spirit in the mid lane. Analog versus BZM. And already Analog 7-1 against BZM's 3-0. Is Zeus meant to completely handle this lane, or is Analog outplaying?
I would say a little bit of both. I think Zeus has at least a bit of a farming edge and does well at the early levels. I think the really annoying thing with new Zeus Heavenly Jump is this attack speed slow. Like, you just use it and you can basically guarantee like range creep denies and stuff because your opponent doesn't get a chance to actually attack. Like 100 attack speed slow in the lane stage is like, you just don't attack.
Yeah, something that's like easily forgotten from Heavenly Jump with so much focus on the maneuverability it gives, all right? Cast time increase, attack speed slow, move speed slow. There's a pretty long tooltip there for it.
It's very weird. Like, I don't know how Icefrog or whoever came up with this idea. Like, okay, I mean, the idea of Heavenly Jump is a mobility, but then it's like, why did it get attack speed slow and all these other things? But, hey, why not? We're here now. You also get unobstructed vision around him for 3 seconds. I actually did not know that.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah,
For some
I
reason.
didn't know that either.
What?
900. Oh, wow, yeah.
Okay. That's yeah, I feel like that's pretty big, actually. That's an important change. I feel like I should know.
Yeah, today I learned.
Yeah.
Just read tooltips, guys.
There's quite a lot of them, you know, 120 heroes, and these tooltips get pretty long, you know. Ever since Oracle got added, I feel like Valve was just like, yeah, let's just make these tooltips as long as possible.
Yeah, just keep adding all these different things to them. And the final lane up at top, Lumiere's Void and Theolacor on that Hoodwink up against a Razor Earth Spirit. A lot of aggression. Oh, wow, Analog. Jump away from that mid lane. Get out of the grasp of BZM. Yeah, a lot in that top lane to fight up against each other. It feels like no one's really farming that well outside of the mid lane. Everyone's focused on fighting each other, dragging lanes around and trying to get a good spot in the lane.
Yep. Just, you know, I think outbrood, like, neither team really wants to go for the kill so much. It's much more about securing the farm. Perhaps on the Hokori side, they'd like to pressure, but, you know, Brood has not really got that much kill threat at these early levels, so we'll need at least a little bit more, like, points in Silken Ball as well as maybe Insatiable Hunger before you can even go for any kind of a kill here.
Yeah, more about being irritating in these first couple of levels. Unsettle your opponents, make things a little more challenging for them. Undying Courier, nice micro there, get away from Misha as he secures the range creep with Scatter Blast. Still holding a bunch of those mangoes as well. Looks like BZM making his way back into the lane now, catching up a bit on the Zeus and doing a lot of damage with his level 2 Ether Remnant. He's caught the Zeus out a number of times now.
Yeah, this Zeus is getting pretty low here, going for the kill. BZM has some good damage here, but doesn't really want to follow it up. Not with just a level 2 Resonant Pulse. He doesn't quite have the damage for it, but Zeus desperately needs a bottle refill.
Yeah, he really does. Yeah, using Clarity now, but if BZM goes again, could be a kill on him. Still 30 seconds before another set of water runes comes up. Might be an idea here for OG to send a hero across. It looks like Yuragi making a long run away, and top lane. A link ends on Amar. Lumiere trying to get some damage onto the Razor, but can't connect with any bashes. Falls back with a time walk.
This was cool from Zeus. He went for the bounty rune at the time where he could get the bounty plus a water rune. He's going to miss maybe a couple of creeps, but he's at least positioning himself where, he also gets this top water rune. I say that BCM is now looking to contest it. Okay, they're going to swap sides. Okay. What was that? Yeah, all right. Zeus was top, and then he just went bottom instead.
Adapting to the situation. I think your point was correct. He was doing that, and BZM turns it on its head, and then Zeus changes his plans because of it.
But this is Zeus mid. He's just farm. He's just lightning creeps. There's nothing much. Unlikely to see any kills in mid. Good job, Observer. Let's focus on these side lanes that are definitely way more interesting. No, get away, get away. No. Down bot. There we go. Okay.
I'm glad we had that first blood at the very start because it's been a very quiet laning stage.
Yeah, this is side laners picking off lane cores, broods and razors and stuff that want to kind of play more of the farm game. And I mean, looking at the CSs, it's a little bit behind some of the others, but Alchemist often has that kind of slow struggle in the early game, and then he'll easily catch up later on with the greed and jungle stacks. Misha,
he needs
maybe
to help out Misha. It looks like Snap's okay. Even going to turn and try and fight Vitali there as Lumiere dies to the Razor Earth Spirit. Able to close the gap up against this level 1 Time Walk, which has such a long cooldown.
That's the thing with Void. Level 1 Time Walk, you've got to be so careful at when and how you use it. Amar and Tiger doing a great job punishing it.
Oh, we finally have Greevil's Greed leveled up on Yuragi. 2-1-1. Now it's time to hit some creeps and farm. See his net worth start to skyrocket. Even see the...
Sorry?
I'm just going to say, even see the Hoodwink leaving top lane as well.
Oh, yeah. What's the plan going to be? Is he going to go start pressuring the Alchemist, or does he need to just keep on securing Void's lane? I think you don't really want to leave Void alone entirely. Looks like it's going to be a bottle refill for now, and both teams want to fight over these 6-minute runes, but it's already been secured by OG.
Yeah, already brought Tiger in there. Well, it's one of the big strengths of OG's draft. 2 supports that can secure runes and really roam and rotate out of the laning stage early on. At some point, probably going to want to make some stacks for Yuragi. Probably Misha's game plan in the next few minutes. Build up a bit of bank for the Alchemist.
Yeah, I was looking around and there wasn't much. They're going to TP bottom with the Void Spirit. They want to fight this.
Yeah, Tombstone's drop, but Lil Shredder makes short work of it. Concoction back on the Brood, and Vitali. Oh, that big Thunder God's Wrath, and Yuragi. He's dead. Vitali was able to turn with his level 2 Insatiable Hunger, sustaining up and going maybe for a third. Earth Spirit backs away. And the TP in from BZM with his Haste Rune, looking to roll in with Tiger. Doesn't connect on Gardic, but the double Astral Step onto Vitali. Should find this one. Oh, nearly got away with a missed chance, but BZM secures it. Speedy enough.
So these power runes are so important. He's able to just make that rotation, quickly get a kill, and then also quickly return to his mid lane. He gets a refill on the way from the outpost there. Bit of an unusual place for a bottle refill, but he'll happily make his way. Well, I was going to say back to the mid lane, but Alka's actually showing up to farm this lane, so maybe a bit of a lane change coming out of OG.
Yeah, BCM comes across and is, okay, you're here now. Level 5 Alk against this, level 7 Zeus. And there's no small camp anymore, so it's just going to be lane creeps over and over again for the Alchemist, while it looks like down at bottom, Hokori pressuring Tiger back. Aiming for a bit of damage on that tier 1, but the wave has been dragged across.
Yeah, just making it harder for the Brood to actually go for the tower with another rotation from BZM. The
Catches
tally.
out.
Yeah, no insatiable hunger this time.
Popped out by the Astral Steps. And Gardic, he's not got mana left here. Another decay in, what, 10 seconds? As Uragi does die to Theo in the mid lane. But Gardic drops bottom to OG's rotations.
Both teams finding kills in different places on the map. Hokori doing a good job taking advantage that OG are prioritizing bottom to make that support rotation and kill an Alchemist.
Chrono top. Razor. Gonna get zapped down by the Zeus. The DD from Analog gives him the clicks and punches to take out Amar.
Nicely done. Great move there. I mean, using the Chrono off cooldown as a void when you're in the early game just to kill cores feels amazing. And killing an Amar Razor who'd been causing him a lot of problems in this lane up until then. He's now overtaken that Razor and farm with that kill, so putting himself and his team in a much better position.
I don't know what it is about Alchemist, but whenever I see him in a pro game, it gives me the itch to play him. It might just be the numbers appearing on my screen. Like, you see the golden numbers and you're like, yeah, that looks good. I bet it feels good as well. I want to replicate that.
I was going to say what's wrong with you. I feel like it's the opposite for me.
Really?
Yeah.
I guess we were having this discussion about Bloodstone. It's just maybe it's just numbers. I like seeing numbers appear on my screen.
I'm sure there's like some other heroes that you can do. CK, numbers pop up when you use your stun.
Yeah, just some numbers popping up. I mean, what is it when you do more than 20% of someone's damage with a right click? You have the little kind of crit number appear.
Yep.
That always feels good. Oh, Theo the Core is going to bully back Misha and trying to contest or at least scout out some of these stacks so they see into that dire jungle and get a little bit of vision down as well from Tiger's Earth Spirit, who is in the vicinity.
So a tier 1 tower being taken uncontested down bottom. As Lumiere's Void makes a good rotation just to find... I mean, he can't really stay top and farm, so he's going to make a new home down bottom lane and force this Brood more into the jungle.
Oh, Rune spawns top, and Theo's going for it. Cookie in from Misha, though, and 4 members of OG there. A deny on the Invis Rune is what Theo gets out of it, but BZM grabs a killing spree.
We'll call that a win for Hokori. You got the rune deny. We saw what Void Spirit did with the last rune, so this one was just an invis.
Small W. It looks like Uragi stealing that stack that they scouted earlier on. Hokori starting the TP here to fight around their own jungle, but Uragi and Misha looks like they've got the damage to bring down Gardic. Oh, the bushwhack, beautifully placed, but BZM, he's able to gap close in. Zeus has to heavily jump down to low ground to escape. There's a lot of space for the rest of Hokori, though. Like Lumiere, after pushing tier 1, he's got a lot of room to farm now.
Yeah, and Vitaly's Brood was actually kind of struggling, was one of the lower farm cores. I mean, he still kind of is, but he's managed to take both bottom tier 1 mid and now pressure the bottom tier 1 and now pressure the mid tier 1. Not going to fully get it, but he's still got full access to this Radiant jungle, so doing a good job giving Void a lot of room to take over the the farm that he wants in bottom lane while still being very efficient throughout this jungle and mid lane as well.
Yeah, distributing the pie of farm very nicely. And Lumiere, just no fears. Hand him Midas Tread, just sitting down bottom. And Brood scouting. Let's see if OG makes any moves here. There's not really a play up top they can make. Like, tier 1 still standing there is an ideal objective for them to take.
The ideal situation for OG. This is not looking like your classic outgame. He's not top of the net worth. He's number 5. He's he can ramp up, but there's not really many stacks waiting for him either. So the fact he was involved, like that outpost fight up top, he was the one stunning the Undying to help kill him, is not usually what you want to see from your Undying.
There's a huge pick off on the Zeus, though, if they can get him. Analog did break up to the high ground and gets the Thunder God's Wrath out, but OG, yet again, it's 4 heroes quickly on the tail of Gardic now. Undying magnetized down, and Vitaly trying to hold a bit of a high ground here. Get away from the initiation of Tiger and Uragi, slowing him down with a kick. The kiss is coming, but the concoction is a self-stun on the Alchemist, which might allow Lumiere here with a time dilation and maybe a chrono. The missed sharpshooter not gonna clip onto the Alken. It looks like Lumiere opting not to chrono him there. Going for Misha instead, the safer and simpler kill. Grabs the bounty rune on his way out. And Hokori, and they lose the Zeus. It's pretty sad for them. They do get a couple of turnaround plays.
Yeah, killing a Snapfire felt like they wanted and tried to get so much more. I mean, luckily they don't lose their Brood. The Snapfire Mortimer's Kisses just couldn't really lock on without OG having any kind of follow-up stun, but Corey bringing 5 to make sure the fight is at least somewhat salvaged, but just a support kill. Felt like if Lumiere maybe just didn't think he had the damage there with the Chrono to finish off the Arc, because that's the really big problem here as this game goes on. But for now, Void is top of the net worth. He's out farming everybody in this game. With this Midas pickup, he's maybe feeling like this game's actually in an okay position considering the Aux lane didn't go so well.
Yeah, all they need to do is land one big Chrono. They've got plenty of damage to dump in it with the Hoodwink and the Zeus, who are currently paired up. The kill threat onto the Razor. That's what they'll use it for. Dump everything onto Amar, even drag him out of the Chrono with the Bushwhack at the end.
Give him some false hope. You're free! Oh, wait, no.
Never mind. Chained up to the trees. BZM keeping Vitaly away from this soft push down in the bottom lane. Still going to stick around in the tree line. Looks like no real way for OG to latch onto the Brood there. It's all about safety for this Alchemist. Put that barrier up in front of Uragi. Get him farming away. He's got his relic in about 300 gold.
BZM with an E-Blade completed at 14 minutes. This is going to be one of the fastest E-Blades on Void Spirit ever. I mean, usually it's just not an item you like rush the way he has, but yeah, I mean, playing against the Brood, against the Void, it's kind of a save against both those two heroes.
They had a massive amount of nuke damage. If they get on top of someone, oh, Tiger nearly had the Faceless Void there. Centimeters away from catching with that rolling boulder into the silence, but they'll turn on Gardic and keep the streak going for BZM. And Lumiere here with no Chrono. I'm just going to try and chase them back, maybe pick off the Misha Snapfire. And pops his stick, but with that sharpshooter and the damage, he does drop. Tiger still trying to get on this Faceless Void, magnetizing him up for the meantime, and Amara arriving to deal with Vitaly. BZM angling for the back lines, but it's just the E-Blade Astral Step to clear up the Broodmother as Tiger stuck on the high ground now. Kicks Lumiere low ground, but Time Walk gets him over the cliff tops again. Lots of little backs and forth here between both teams, but it always feels like OG are the ones killing cores, while Hokori only supports for now as BZM gets away from the Bushwhack. Another dissimulate into the Roche Pit. Astral Step on cooldown for 15 seconds though. Still an opportunity for Hokori to chase forward. The Cookie to try and save him up the high ground with the E-Blade, but he's dead. The Zeus damage, but the Void, he's gone, and Uragi's appearance opening up onto this Hoodwink, battering away onto Theo Lecor. A fairy fire and a Bushwhack will buy him a bit of safety, even trying to sharpshoot at the high ground and successfully gets away. Vitaly now joining the fray as Uragi channels up another stun to go for the TP home. No Bushwhack, no way to stop him, while off to the left-hand side, Gardic is hunted down by Amar's Razor.
That Bushwhack was half a second away from being up. If they kill the Alk there, that's such a good fight for Hokori. In the end, it's just a bit of a bloody mess. The Void Spirit goes down, getting chased down by the Faceless Void, but gets the E-Blade off for the Kisses, and that was such a good Mortimer's Kisses, killing off the Faceless Void, almost bringing down Theo Lecor on the Hoodwink as well. Just very chaotic fight for both sides, and the kind of fight I think Uragi's Alchemist is happy to see, because he was kind of, at least until the end, kind of off farming and building up his net worth, and all of a sudden, 16 minutes in, he's #1 with a Radiance, and he's just going to accelerate from here.
Yeah, and a big fight for the Razor there, getting 500 gold, a ton of experience. Finishes off his BKB now, Amar, so that synchronizes perfectly. I mean, Radiance and BKB coming up for OG at exactly the same time.
Yeah, this is going to be an OG lineup that quickly ramps up here in the mid game and is ready to take any kind of a fight. Zeus has been very effective up until this point, but all of a sudden he's going to have a BKB Razor running him. This Void Spirit, we've already seen what he can do as far as being able to jump the back lines. And Hokori feeling pressure to make something happen here.
We'll clip onto Tiger. Oh, blow him up with the Spawn Spiralings. Thunder God's Wrath, even a sharpshooter into the back of Razor's head. Is this a lineup that can go and take a Roshan though? They need another big team fight, another couple of kills to really think about it, don't they?
Yeah, don't think they can just go into the pit. The Brood alone is not really enough. Speaking of Brood, going for the kind of more team aura items, has a pipe queued up, trying to maybe counteract some of that Alk Radiance damage in these fights. Keep her Spiderlings alive, but she's in trouble.
Yeah, jump in from BZM. Vitaly trying to find a way to escape, but it's just an onslaught of damage from OG. That's the D-ward battle that started that off. Misha against Vitaly, both killing off some wards up on the high ground, but yeah, losing your broodmother like that is going to be painful for Hokori. She's all of your map pressure.
Yeah, and when she's gone for this kind of tanky build with the hood and has raindrops and still getting bursted down, there's just so much overwhelming magic damage on OG's side. And you mentioned Roshan. I feel like if anything, it's OG who have more control over the pit right now. Not the best heroes to go for it. At least maybe, I mean, Alchemist Acid Spray, some minus armor there, but they're probably thinking they need a bit more farm before they try and take Roshan.
Yeah, nicely done by Yuragi up at top. Makes the troll summon his skeletons, drags the wave into the camp. Farming very efficiently on this Alchemist now at 11,000 net worth. Accelerating incredibly quickly. And Hokori still angling down towards bottom, trying to play under their vision. But this is where, you know, you needed your broodmother kind of to be alive and pushing that bottom lane to create the vacuum of space in the bottom jungle to play into.
Yeah, and I think for Hokori, they're not going to feel like this game is completely slipped away, given how farm their Void is, almost a full Mjolnir. He needs to pick up his neutral item. He just found a Ring of Aquila and left it in a neutral camp. That's a bit unoptimal. Okay, there we go. Goes back, picks it up. But yeah, Void is farmed. He's behind the Alchemist, but that's, you know, every carry in the game. Once Alch gets raged, you're going to be behind him. It's all about how big of a gap it is and what Alchemist does with, like, the BKB blink timing, because that's where Alch, I feel like, really starts to be a problem, is he gets this fast Radiance BKB blink, and you're not ready to fight him.
Radiant are scanning.
And he's just taking up this top part of the map with the rest of his team coming in. Radiant scan high ground, and they know there's people up there. Dire Vision probably saw them coming, and that's why Gardic trying to play under the high ground, but he can't even get a tombstone down. Blown up very quickly by the Morty's Kisses. And Misha is continuing this ward battle. Sentries, observers all over the place up in this top part of the map.
These Spiderlings going out to scout, but Alka's just like, okay, thanks, I'll take some more gold. This is good for me. This works. But yeah, a lot used just around Undying. I was curious to see if Hokori try and make a play. The Kisses are on cooldown now. It's not like the end-all be-all of OG's team fight, but it's at least something that may make them think that they can make a smoke play here and look for a chrono. And yeah, they do seem to be grouping up mid. Here we go, 5-man smoke.
And off they pop. Who are they going to spot first? And they just picked up a couple of big items. Kaya Sandra on Zeus. Pipe on Vitaly's Brood. But OG have vacated the top jungle. They're all back towards their ancients. Let's see if Garda can get a good high ground ward down.
Just seems a little bit too telegraphed, the full 5-man smoke.
Lumiere, he chronos the Snapfire only. And Razor with his BKB up. And Alchemist getting blown up. Down goes Yuragi quickly. Misha dead to the Spiderlings now as Tiger's rolled in to his own demise. Magnetized onto 5, but it doesn't matter.
Fighting the Alka. The perfect time, and they just blow him up. Even with the Chronosphere being off the mark, OG just have their out get deleted there, and they're right into the Roshan pit. Hokori mentioned the Kisses were down. It's a great time to go for a 5-man smoke, and even if they were up, you can kind of see there, like, this is go time for Hokori. They just completed the pipe. They've got all this ability to mitigate all this damage, and Void with the full Mjolnir is just dishing out some serious right-click now as well.
Yeah, I mean, this Zeus damage is actually insane. Look at him just blow this guy up with the amplified damage from the Flesh Golem helping out tremendously as well. I mean, I'm just looking back at the fight recap. 9 other players did like 3,000 damage total, and Zeus did 3,000 damage on his own.
Yeah. And the big thing is the Alk's BKB was just coming out in the courier. So he was like half health, gets stunned up, his BKB arrives, but he's stunned up and he gets deleted. So Yuragi just not having his BKB in time. And fortunately for OG, that's not the outcome they want. They'll find some more kills here in the mid lane. This Zeus would be a huge one if they can get it, but this Zeus is damn tanky.
And Tiger doesn't get the follow-up roll. Can't keep going onto Analog, and rolls away from a bushwhack there as well, while Lumiere jump forward with a time dilation, kicked back away by Tiger. Still going aggressively though, and finishing off the Earth Spirit. Pretty low though, this Lumiere Void, and loses the Aegis. Yuragi's into the back, aiming for Analog. Didn't get off his BKB though, and Amar charging towards Theo Licor, but I think this Hoodwink gonna be pretty happy just dying here to allow the rest of the team to escape. As long as they can disengage with the Faceless Void being caught by Tiger, though. Dragged into the Ether Remnant, chain stuns for days. And OG, they outplay Hokori.
Yeah, just charging forward, understanding like this time we're going to make sure we have these BKBs. Alk doesn't even need his because they're the ones getting the jump. Looks like they'll get an extra kill in Gardic as well.
A nice little bonus there for them as BZM grabs himself a double kill.
Yep. Just running at them, Chronosphere's down. They've gotten Aegis, which is perhaps why Hokori thought they could chase and force this fight, but it's almost too easy to kill this Void twice because he hasn't got this any kind of BKB Manta, so anytime that their Spirit gets on top of him, or an Outblinked Sun catches him, the Void just gets removed from the fight.
It looked like a pretty simple tier 1, but Glyph is there for Hokori. Okay. A new creep wave coming in, but Zeus is going to clear that out.
Not concerned about the tower for now. As we'll see what OG's next move is going to be. Perhaps going to be forced to play a bit more conservatively, or at least be wary of another Hokori smoke. The smoke around Chronosphere is the big play that Hokori get to make, and could be something they have in mind once again.
Just an illusion rune down bottom for the Zeus. Nothing amazing.
Yeah. Both teams are trying to bait that bottom rune, but I think once OG saw it's an illusion rune, they probably didn't really care. So now we get to that point where Alk well ahead of the Void in terms of net worth. Again, this is kind of normal expected things in an Alk v Void kind of game, but the key thing for Void is just getting this BKB up, landing his Chronosphere on key targets. The last fight, just catching a Snapfire. I think in ideal scenario, you catch the Void Spirit because the E-Blade represents a way to save your teammates in Chrono. But if you can catch someone like an Alk or a Razor and blow them up pre-BKB, it's definitely worth it as well.
Yeah, we still need 1,000 gold for Lumiere to finish off that BKB. And get a couple of creep waves bottom, a little bit of jungle to fall back on. But it looks like OG in a good spot here, pushing out top, gathering up mid, and then playing into that top jungle as well. Already starting to prepare for fights around Roshan, even 4 minutes before the potential respawn. And ready and waiting for Hokori to make any kind of move.
Seems to be trying to hunt this Brood. Brood sees him coming. Tiger has a roll in one, but TP out just in time.
It does mean now Brood is kind of off the map for a little bit. Give Tiger some room to shove back against this bottom lane push. And Hokori, the ones that can regroup in the mid lane. Maybe even think about a smoke pivot from mid across towards the enemy ancients. It's just this one high ground ward spot is so important. You know, from last TI when Spirit were using it heavily, it's a focal point here for both teams.
Vitaly's doing a great job with his Spiderling micro. Like they lack vision on the Hokori side, but they're using these Spiderlings, splitting them all over the map, trying to use them to de-ward with an illusion. They know that if they send heroes here, they may just get jumped and feed. So they're playing it safe. They take out the Observer Ward. Still a sentry, but they don't care about that one quite as much. Void Spirit's Ag Scepter being online poses another threat to the Faceless Void. The Resonant Pulse silencing, which is another reason why they have to fight around his BKB, which he's got online. So as far as Hokori is concerned, they're just about ready to fight here. 1 point booster on Broodmother away from having the Wraith Pact, and maybe thinking this Aghanim Shard on the Faceless Void is also going to be a team fight deciding item.
Lumiere.
Go for the Chrono.
Yeah, he goes for it. Thunder God's Wrath there and a sharpshooter to follow. Blows up BZM. What can they do off the back of this now? Because they're aiming in towards mid lane. A self-stun on the Alchemist. Tiger rolls across the Spiderlings. Straight into the army of Vitaly. Hokori trying to regroup with the rest of their squad in that mid lane as guarding. He just plays forward onto the Razor and a damage onto Amar. It's substantial, but not quite enough. His BKB allows a bit of a gap to be made. Tiger needs to save him, and Uragi disappears. The damage out of this Lumiere Void clears through the Alchemist, and he's straight back onto the Razor again. BKB's up, whacks him down, and Hokori with a big team fight victory for themselves.
All 3 cores dead. That was just huge, and just a lot of great individual plays and rotations. Like Lumiere using the Chrono from the trees, not going for any kind of time walk in, knowing that if he time walks with that Chrono, you give Void Spirit the time to get an Astral Step or a Dissimulate out of there. So just really heads up play from him to get the gank down bottom. The quick move, right after getting the kill bottom, they're rotating mid because OG trying to make a play around the mid lane, knowing there's no Void, there's no Chrono. But Broodmother positioning, getting away from the Earth Spirit was just so on point here.
I've got to recant something I said earlier on. I've watched a couple of times now, and I've done a bit of homework, opened up a couple of tabs in Chrome. Alchemist is making money off the zombies. When he's hitting them, he's getting that plus 24. There's something that, you know, Gardic's got to be wary of. Giving too much money to Yuragi.
We'll blame this one on the cost.
No, I blame this one on myself. I've done a stupid here. That's for damn sure. Tiger, wow! Look at the roll. Somehow connects onto Theo the first time, and the Chrono whiffs completely. Oh dear, Hokori. Time to bail and run away. Tombstone's down from Gardic. Vitali's on the high ground, but Yuragi pummels the Tombstone down. Misha being focused by Lumiere as Hokori trying to fight around this high ground spot. The Brood and the Faceless Void. Yeah, they're moving around very freely. A 2 for 2 so far, and even looking to chase him for more. Al getting caught out by his own stun, and the Thunder God's Wrath, the save from the E-Blade, not going to be enough.
Once more, once BZM, and he's out of Astral Steps. This is problematic for BZM. He's going to TP out, but he needs to find someone to use it.
Bash.
And he's being found.
He's got the bash. Dissimulate.
Go.
Bit of distance with a shard. He's in the trees. He's away from there. That looked like a great fight for OG with that whiff Chrono, but Hokori had so much more left in the tank.
Yeah. It's so much of it's just the net worth they've managed to accrue. Like, Alk is this carry that it's still the same story as it was many years ago. You want to be playing with a 10k gold lead. You want to be playing with like a 5k gold advantage over the enemy carry, and the Void is kept up for the most part. Zeus also got a significant amount of farm and has itemized full damage. He's still holding Fairy's Trinket with a Kaya Sanj Octarinkor. All these other tier 2, tier 3 neutral items, nah, they're crap. I'm playing Fairy's Trinket. This is like the Storm at like 40 minutes in, the Fairy Trinkets as well. He just knows the efficiency this item gives with mana cost reduction and spell damage is just unmatched because it's percent based.
Yeah, why would you want anything else? Such a good item on the Zeus. A slight lead now for Hokori. 1,000 net worth as that graph takes a bit of a dive bomb. OG were sitting really pretty. They were like, I don't know, 7, 8k ahead at one point. And now back into a dead even game by the metrics, but it's still going to feel like with this Faceless Void, you've got the answer. You know, he is the late game king in terms of team fight contribution and damage.
Did all of that without a Chronosphere. The shard just paying off. He's just able to kind of bait spells and go in like there was the reason Alk stunned himself was because of the reverse time walk. Lose Gardic here, maybe in the mid lane. The heals actually keep Gardic alive with the help of the Wraith Pack. 4 set of kisses.
Yeah, one glob of lava lands on him. And the Faceless Void reversing. Back with his time walk, but it's still under dire vision here. Misha gets first hit bashed. The kisses with that cookie, but a bushwhack from Theo. It catches the 2 supports. They get the D-Ward, and Roshan, well, it's 40 seconds until respawn. As OG, they start to buy back and filter back towards the pit.
Yeah, they're worried about that potential Roshan. They don't know how soon it's coming up, and this is a big team fight for them. If they give Faceless Void an Aegis, it feels like it could just be game over from there. So I want to make sure they have every tool available to them to win this next upcoming team fight. The Heaven's Halberd on the Razor to try and answer the Void. They're Alchemists going for a Basher to try and get some extra control and lockdown, but just feels like OG just are not quite farmed enough on some of these key cores. Chrono from Smoke.
Straight on BZM. Dead for 60 seconds. Lumiere's even hunting for Misha here. They land the sharpshooter. And he jumps forward again. If he catches a bash, this should be the death of the Snapfire. And Misha, who just brought back, is now dead for 70, while Amar, he walks in with his BKB, draining a bit of damage and clicking onto that Zeus, the 4th staff and the Heavenly Jump. Gets him a bit of distance, but he's still dead. This has allowed Lumiere, though, to have a free fight. As Yuragi, he's looking for the Hoodwink, but guarding. He's got that amp damage, and Yuragi being turned on now. Good placement of the Tombstone, the Wraith Pact, forcing OG back. But Hokori have also suffered casualties of their own. 3 heroes dead. Where's Lumiere? Is he gonna go solo Roshan? Are you able to do this?
I think he might be. Why not? You've got the Brute there to help you out as well, and that's a another one team fight for Hokori. They've got a 2k gold lead out, but they're going to buy back the Hoodwink to just try and secure this one. They have been scouted out in the pit by the scan, so here comes Tiger.
Straight in. Rolls onto the Lumiere Void. There's no BKB and no Chrono here, but the self-stun from Alg might cause problems for OG. They've poked into the pit. But I don't know if they can follow through. This Roshan's looking dead. Maybe a steal play. BZM and Tiger, they roll in, but Lumiere has the Aegis already. So Tiger, he's going to have to hand over his life here. Even with the E-Blade save, he's going to die eventually to the rest of Hokori.
Jace is on now. These OG heroes came close, and Lumiere wants some more, but doesn't look like he's going to find it.
Out on Lumiere with the bash. They've
killed
him
BKB
the first time. Aegis down, and BKB now coming back up. Okay. Hokori wanting to make a meal out of this. They're charging forward. BZM and Misha, a lot of maneuverability between the two of them.
Lumiere going for the patented double Agshard build. Does absolutely nothing. There we go. Gives
Give it to someone.
Yep. Gives it to the Hoodwink. We get the boomerang. So we get a. I wonder if this boomerang is gonna. I mean, it's just more damage, I guess, is what they're kind of looking at.
Yeah, I guess so. Went for the Veil as well, so a lot of spell amp.
Yeah, and it amps up. Yeah, the Zeus's damage too. Like this Hoodwink with Veil plus boomerang with a Zeus on your team, it sounds pretty damn nice. Even this Void, like his time lock does magical damage plus the Mjolnir damage. There's a lot of magic damage flying around in these fights.
Well, yeah, it's spell damage, right? Not magic damage amp. So it's every spell rather than the magic versus physical damage. So yeah, it's time lock. It's even like Silken Bowler and stuff like that. And yeah, thinking about it, you got amp damage from Flesh Golem, double amp from this Hoodwink. Inside a Chrono, if the time locks come, they're getting obliterated by this Void.
I mean, I also think they just didn't have anyone else to use it. So, like, Brood Shard is good if you're a carry Brood, but this guy's full utility team fight. Like, you're not looking at playing around your insatiable hunger as a Brood this game. So, we'll see how these next fights break out. Looks like for Hokori, they're waiting for this refresher orb on Faceless Void. Now level 25 as well. So 20% backtrack going to make him pretty damn unkillable in the front lines, it feels like.
Yeah, the raid boss. Difficult to handle for OG. Even when they've got this Amar with the Halberd, the Blink, the BKB, they've not been able to see Lumiere or even click him in the fights. Like you mentioned with the reverse time walk, he's just jumping in and out over and over again. And with Hokori taking down this tier 2 bottom, they'll grab the outpost, use this as a platform to launch themselves up towards top, where it's more effective for the Dire to play more often than not. Play out of the enemy ancients into top and mid lane.
It's like a game where OG's waiting for that miracle fight. They need to play around their vision, their high grounds, and make sure Void doesn't find a way to land these chronospheres, but it's so hard to do. Right now, Hokori have such good vision. They've somehow managed to get multiple aggressive wards that haven't been dewarded, both near that Radiant Triangle as well as inside the Radiant base on the high ground. So they see a lot of the OG movement right now.
Look at Lumiere. Yeah, he's forcing reactions. Misha has to cookie back just to a quick jump in and out. Ever-present threat from the Void. And yeah, you're right, this vision is so massive for them.
Just allows them to keep playing aggressive in the map. They are going to TP the Void top, so they decide their stay is over in this Radiant side of the map, and they're going to push out top. If you're OG, you're thinking, okay, Void's thrown top, let's just charge through our bottom Radiant jungle. So OG kind of responding to the moves that Hokori make, but it's Hokori who kind of get to decide what plays are made. But anytime they make a move or show themselves somewhere on the map, you got to imagine OG are going to respond in kind, and doesn't look like they're necessarily hunting for kills. They're maybe hunting for like a straggler, but Hokori making all the right moves, which is, you know, it's like game Dota. You stick as 5.
Yeah, play under high ground vision. Make sure you get a high ground tombstone. That's where Gardic is sitting right now, pinging out. Waiting for smokes to come and looking to break them.
He's finally got Neon Disc to go with his 4-star, the Philosopher's Stone, paying dividends here as this game drags on.
And it always feels like an awkward portion of the game when, you know, Roshan dies, you grab Aegis, then within 10 seconds it's gone. Because both teams are now kind of waiting for the next Roshan. They don't have that pivotal item to allow bold moves. Everyone's very tentative with how they're playing. Not wanting to give away core kills or anything of the like. Start thinking about buybacks as well. Only the Brood and the Alk have them right now. But we should start to see, you know, especially some of these support heroes come off cooldown, get the money for it. And think about that big Roche battle that's coming in the next couple of minutes.
Yeah, I think it's a big part of why Hokori are kind of playing a bit more passively and farming the map is because their lack of buybacks. They really want to complete, particularly, I mean, your Void, your Zeus, like any kind of a big team fight. And with these two heroes not having buyback is, you know, it's a little concerning.
Yeah, it's been a pretty good job by Analog so far, honestly, against the Void Spirit, Earth Spirit. And the fact you've got, you know, double blink on the Alk and the Razor. He's only died twice on the Zeus. His positioning has been pretty good so far in these fights. A lot of frontline enables that.
Speaking of Zeus, still with the very strict tier 4 neutral items. Nah, they're crap. We don't want those.
maybe if he gets the timeless relic, but as a radiant item that's been grabbed
like
up.
Spell prism or something, maybe. I don't.
Oh.
I'm not sure what you would consider good enough to carry, but so far it's nothing.
Yeah, just the tier 1 kept in hand. They don't even clear out enemy ancients here. Hokori going back to farming normal neutral camps. Just wanting to play under this high ground vision as often as they can. As a press forward, then a fall back, rinse and repeat over and over again. As that base ward, it's kept tabs on OG. They've seen them move and filter back numerous times now. And Hokori are going to have a pretty good idea of where they're heading into that bottom part of the map. And ever irritating with the spiderlings. Clearing out the mid wave, scouting, giving a bit of vision. And it's forcing OG to react to Vitali. If someone shows on that mid wave from OG, they're getting jumped and chronoed.
Yeah, you can afford to just do these one-man chronos when you're playing with Refresher or any kind of a core. They can always be saved by the E-Blade. That's kind of the big thing here. No nullifier or anything, but the E-Blade, there's so much magic damage. Like, you E-Blade someone in Chronosphere, as long as Zeus is alive outside the Chrono using spells, they're going to get deleted.
A bottle DD rune. Lumiere.
He pops it.
Incredibly scary. Thunder God's Wrath, given for vision. The immediate Nimbus. They got the stun on BZM. The Chrono not going to come. He thought about it. Saw him lifting his arms for a second. Maybe they can catch up to Misha, Tiger, but they're smoked and on the run. And already a line drawn to wrap around OG. They want to reposition themselves, knowing that Roshan could be up any second now.
I don't know if he was if he knew about the lightning bolt stun, because there was a window to Chrono the Void Spirit there, but he didn't want to use it immediately when they scouted him because he's thinking, oh, I may just whiff it. But the lightning bolt stun gave him a tiny little window, which he just hesitated on.
Oh, we'll see if Hokori get a read on this. OG in a very sneaky position. Tiger's up on that high ground trying to scout out any movements. But Hokori with the slight advantage being dire on this Radiant Ancients area. They've pushed out top very hard. Mid lane needs to be dealt with though. And you can see Analog scouting there. I think they caught a glimpse of him. With the Nimbus they know absolutely where OG is.
Tiger should be able to roll TP out of this one. Chasing her spirits with 4-second cooldown rolling boulders, just never worth doing, and should just be maybe just a free Roshan for a core. I mean, it's late game Dota, Refresher Void, like, how do you lose a team fight with 2 Chronos? And I think the answer is only if he misses them. As long as he lands them on like 1 or 2 heroes each that are key targets, it just feels like the fights should be pretty free for Hokori, particularly if they play around buybacks and don't give, you know, if someone like a Zeus dies and can buy back, then you've got all your damage that you need for a Chronosphere.
Man, we start to witness one of the weaknesses here of the Alchemist. Yeah, he can scale quickly and ramp up. But he's 6-slotted and he started buying Aghanims for his teams, it looks like. As OG smoking again, and the first point of all the Thunder God's Wrath scouts them out. They know where OG are. Just hold your position on this high ground, scout with some spiderlings. Vitali, look at him spreading his army all across that mid lane, looking for where OG are. Very nice micro, individually moving the little spiders as Lumiere jumps up and down from the high ground spot. Gardic with a tombstone, trying to defend it with his soul rip. Misha Amar focusing in. There's the chrono. Lumiere aiming straight in onto this BZM Void. He's got a neon disc, but is it enough to save him? It looks like no. Pop down, and the Spirit's about to follow. Gets off a Cyclone as Yuragi zoned out, and the turn onto Amar. They land the bashes, and Log TPing home to escape from the static link. And Lumiere, he's got the catch onto the Razor. This is what Hokori needed, but Yuragi, he's back in the fight, and Amar with his BKB, enabling the kisses to land onto the Faceless Void. He's silenced up, he's controlled and killed. I thought Hokori had this one, but OG say absolutely not.
He fully bought out for a Scotty here, so you're Void without buyback. They need the Zeus to do the damage here.
A sick cookie in, 2 supports caught by it. Yuragi's Alchemist doing so much damage, but he's taking a lot himself.
Zeus is caught too.
The spell damage coming, and you're right, the Zeus being drained of all his right click by Amar. Kills off Gardic, tries to escape here with a Heavenly Jump and the Invis, but Analog shredded by the Razor. Meanwhile, they've caught out Vitali's Broodmother, and that is a huge win for OG.
They may just win the game over this. Only Zeus has buyback now. Catastrophe. Like the Zeus, the Chronos were good. The problem was the Void can't kill all these heroes by himself. Both Void Spirit and Alk were in the Chrono, but guess who else was? The Zeus. The Zeus is the damage for the Chrono, and he actually chronoed his own Zeus, which I think is okay given that he got so many of the key enemy heroes. But the subsequent fight had Razor running everybody down, surviving on a sliver of health with BKB, and then Zeus just unable to kind of stay alive against Amar, who once he gets on top of this Zeus, there's not much Zeus can do. He goes invis with Crixer Cloak, but then he comes back out and just kind of gives away his life. So, really great fight for OG. I mean, this could be game over here, or at least lanes of racks.
I mean, that swing is massive. It was a 7k swing in terms of just the fight with the kills that happened. Then you add Roshan, you add an Aghanim Scepter, you add all of the pushing that OG can now do as they break up into this dire base, and we've got the game turned on his head yet again. No Faceless Void for another 5 seconds, but it's also the fact he has no Chrono for 15, no Refresher Orb for 50. Difficult times for Hokori. Losing a lane of barracks here, and I mean, OG, can they shift up top and get a second? Or is this fallback time?
There is one Chronosphere to worry about. I think the Chrono plus the Zeus is enough to deter anything. The Zeus has buyback to play around as well, so they'll get just the one lane, which means, massive lead for OG. Suddenly it's a 25k gold lead, but at the same time, Hokori still in this one, and we'll get a chance to reset and try and take the next team fight in a better way. They've got to find a way to use this double Chronosphere and have the Zeus on the outskirts dishing out damage. That's going to be absolutely key for them.
Hokori going to know where they are. OG setting up their defensive line. You just see the positioning from Misha, BZM, and Amar here. Everyone's got mobility, so they can kind of bait out an Earth Spirit or an Alk for a turnaround play with the rest of them.
Razor now with a completed Heart of Tarrasco with the Satanic, just insane fight. I feel like Amar was the hero of that last fight. He's become the true carry. This Alchemist, melee hero getting kited a bit, is 6-slotted, but it's Amar's Razor who just gets on top of people with these static links and just absolutely obliterates these fights.
I mean, they've also got this Aghanim Scepter on Tiger as well. Able to turn someone into stone when they're in the Chrono, so another saving tool for OG to play around with. Yuragi taking a lot of damage, though, getting blown up by the Zeus, and all of that spell amp does not get saved, so the Aegis is claimed, and the Lumiere is in with a 2-man Chrono, aiming for BZM. The Kisses zoning out the back lines, and Misha, he's the target as they do kick away Yuragi. BZM still up and running, while Amar trying to retreat from the high ground, but he's tanky with that Heart of Tarrasque. Chronoed up, catching Yuragi and Amar, though, and Hokori defending their high ground. And the BKB's up for the Alchemist as Tiger rolls back in. Magnetized to zone and control up Analog. Tiger and BZM, though, getting shredded. The double Cyclone sent skywards, but landing down with a lightning zap. Zeus clears them up, and a triple for Lumiere's Faceless Void. Chaotic team fights, swinging back and forth in this game, but Hokori defend their base.
Yeah, just there's so much pressure on Tiger to get these saves off. They blow up the Aegis at almost zero cost to themselves because Tiger's trying to play in the trees to get a jump. It looked like he was trying to use this axe to maybe initiate in and catch somebody, but unfortunately for OG, it's Hokori who actually get a quick jump, take out the Aegis, and then get two pretty nice Chronospheres off. The second one especially catching two cores. Tiger does get the save on one hero with the Enchant Remnant and kicks them away, but it's just not quite enough because they need... The Void, the hero without buyback, is the one they have to threaten. And the entire fight, Lumiere is just going untouched, unthreatened, and just dishing out absurd amounts of damage. Similar story for the Zeus. Like, the two big cores of Hokori were just not being dealt with.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
A little gobble up there. Watching it back. Misha, right place to save BZM from the chrono.
Has fallen.
Lots of tools for OG, but Hokori with the firepower to break through it all. And another DD rune for them as we go back to live and see Analog getting solo killed down by Uragi.
Okay. And that's... Considering Hokori just won a big fight, to have that happen next is... You know, moment of mental slippage perhaps. Is up until now it felt like all the Hokori team hadn't really been getting picked off solo at all, so a big find for the Alchemist. Buys some time to reset things here. I'm not sure if OG have the strength to kind of push forward. Going for any kind of a high ground push just because Zeus is dead is very scary when he likely has buyback from their perspective and you're pushing into double Chronosphere.
Still back into the same position though. Top jungle belongs to OG. Now, I'm not sure what that line is from Gardic, drawing a line from top down to the bottom tier 2. And Lumiere is out on the map farming, but he's going to come back and defend. It looks like OG starting their commitment onto this tier 3. Alchemist frontlining.
Refresher in 20 seconds, so for now it's only one chrono to worry about.
And already Eon Disc popped out on Gardic. Amar's aggressive move causing a bit of a scramble there from Hokori, and BZM diving as well. The poking with the kisses now to give a bit of suppressing fire, allowing Alk to bring down the buildings. Tier 3 already crumbling and now aiming for this melee barracks. Hokori need a way to enter this fight, and so far OG have done a very good job at stopping that from happening.
At the same time, I think Hokori do a good job not forcing a fight while Zeus is dead. They don't want to use his buyback there. Puts him in a very, game-losing kind of situation. Your Zeus buys back and dies again, it's game over. So they're just looking to stall, and they do it, only losing a range racks at this stage of the game, 15 minutes in. You're fine with that. Both teams are going to reset. Perhaps look for that next big smoke play and next Roshan fight as well. Although we're kind of getting to that point where there's not a whole lot of room for Roshas to keep... for Aegis to keep being carried. Alk is starting to pull a lot of Acceptors too. It looks like he's pulled one and he's about to give a second one now.
Who's he going to give it to then? That's just the Razor that doesn't have one? Yeah, everyone else has got one way or the other.
Give one to BZM at some point and then BZM can sell his Acceptor. That's an option just because, Alk, you kind of want those bonuses from the Chemical Rage.
That's true. Hokori. Theo. He's smoked here. And just trying to kill the wave off with the help of Spiderlings. And Amar sending not only the illusion forward, but his hero as well. Cutting in behind Hokori here to make sure this lane continues to push towards the Dire base. And this is the difficulty. Top lane's on your melee barracks. Mid lane's being pushed in as well. You were in a decent spot on that ancient platform, but you've got to come back and defend.
Yeah, Corey forced retreat back to their base. We're seeing a lot of these level 25s come out, as well as Acceptors we don't always see. The Broodmother with the Spinach Snare, giving some extra vision up on the map and scouting potential. Really nice for some of these ramps where you can just kind of lay a snare and kind of see everyone coming in. The Brood also level 25 means the Silken Bowl on mischance and slow is up to 90%.
Ooh.
You get that on somebody who doesn't have BKB. Like, you put that on Razor or Alk, and that's brutal.
6 seconds, yeah. Earth Spirit having to BKB and roll. Spending some cooldowns there, Tiger, just to get away from Hokori. And it's really a beautiful showing here from both teams of creating vacuums on the map, then relinquishing control for a second to take a better spot, falling away when you're feeling like you're not strong enough to fight. And they're battling over these high grounds of the top jungle and the Dire Ancient area, just being a non-stop back and forth of smoke into smoke, play into play. with no real kills or team fights. It's just about finding positions to enable you to think about Roshan, to think about defending your base, looking for these choke point battles for Lumiere and this big alchemist of Uragi.
Yeah, both teams continue to posture. Smokes become so precious at this stage of the game. There is one on Misha's Snapfire, so potential Roshan coming into play soon. Something Hokori are kind of camping out here. They probably... I don't have to put on the Faceless Void. He does have buyback, and he is 6 slotted. We'll see where things end up here, as OG not out on the map in a position where they can easily contest Roshan for now. And it is respawning in 12 seconds time, but now grouped as 5. Looks like they're going to smoke up and head that way.
I mean, everyone in this game, bar the Brood, has buyback right now. 1,000 gold away from Vitaly. So this fight is basically a 10v10.
Oh, Lumiere pops the smoke from the Roche pit.
And the Thunder God's Wrath gives the vision. A gem to scout high ground. There's a Nimbus there on Tiger. He's going to BKB and kill off an Observer Ward as Roshan is begun by Hokori. Tombstone's down and Lumiere's there in the pit hitting away. OG's got to do something about this.
Do they feel like they have to stop this one? Do they feel like they have the ability to team fight into double Chronosphere as well? Gobble up, toss in a creep.
That's going to scare Hokori for a second, and Lumiere realizing, you know, there's no commitment. I'm going to go back into the Roche pit. Getting dragged by the Ether Remnant into the kisses and the roll. They've got a bit of chain stun here onto the Faceless Void, but Lumiere's able to get the chrono off onto the 2 of them inside the pit. Grabs up the Aegis and refresh a shard as Uragi's chasing Analog on the right-hand side. But this Faceless Void, taunted, stunned and controlled. OG doing everything they can, but Lumiere just refuses to die. First life finally claimed up as OG kill off him and the Undying. Cheese grabbed by the Earth Spirit. As Lumiere inside the pit still with his BKB to go, gets another chrono, finding Uragi's Alchemist and whacking him down. That's him gone. A huge fight for Lumiere's Void, and there seems like nothing can stop him here. Gets away from the 2 spirits. Amado with a triple kill on the other side. Did find the Undying another time as Theo forcing himself away from the Razor, but it's still this Lumiere show. Getting gobbled up and spat on, rolled upon by Tiger, BZM, and Uragi. The control! The Abyssal Blade right at the last second. Kills off the Faceless Void, and OG with the buybacks. I mean, are they victors here in this fight? They've come out on top.
They've used a lot of buybacks, but also on the dire side, you're going to be forcing out a Void buyback most likely. An absolutely chaotic fight. Amar just doing another great job getting on the back lines, initially dealing with the Void. The static link stealing attack speed now as well, making Void's first life basically useless, but the second life of Void carrying the team fight. Amar's going for the throne here. Void has to buy back. I feel like if they want to stand a chance to defend this one.
Yeah, they've got this Aghanim Scepter Razor shredding through buildings. Tier 4's looking worse for wear. And the roll in. Good gobble up. Analog being focused. Amar has moved in aggressively, and BZM hunting for the Zeus. The buyback from the Faceless Void is here, but he's got no chronos to play with. Has to time walk away, but they will get a Thunder God's Wrath out. Kill off Tiger and aim for Amar. The trouble being, your throne is falling. No clip available for the Dire team. Faceless Void has to fight mano a mano against the Alchemist. They've got the little piggy dead. He's gone for 2 minutes now, and Lumiere, he gets a double kill and looks for BZM. All the blink away. Another Dissimilate available after this Yule Scepter. He needs to create space and survive. Lumiere looking for the bashes or the bushwhack, and he finds it. The big Aghanim Scepter there, allowing the time lock to land onto BZM.
Absolute chaos between these 2 teams. A 6k gold swing in that fight. It's just the Zeus doing 12,000 hero damage. Did have to use a buyback here, so it's as well as the Faceless Void. So these 2 heroes, any death on them could spell the demise of Hokori, but they know Alk as well as Snapfire do not have any buyback at all for this defense. So they've got a 5 versus 3 for the next 60 seconds, and they're charging forward. They're pushing out these lanes. They want to seal the deal with this game, but they've got their work cut out for them. There's tier 3 towers as well as tier 4s and a throne. I don't think they've got enough time to go for throne. Not with the glyph resetting here. It's going to be OG just looking to give up a lane or 2 of racks in order to buy time for the Alchemist to respawn, I imagine.
Yeah, but still, you've got double Chrono now. Refresher Orb up on the Zeus, so double Nimbus and Thunder God's Wrath. Even a double Eon Disc going to help him out in these fights. And you've got a Refresher Shard on Gardic. So double Tombstone. Eon Disc used very early on, but this tier 3 cleared up by Hokori. Let's see what they do. Is it tier 4s and throne, or is it, like you say, just a couple of lanes of barracks?
The good thing about the other side lanes is you're not resetting the glyph, because what OG have is triple glyph. Like, they've already used one, but they've got 2 more. You kill a tier 4 tower, it resets the glyph, and I think Hokori are going to be like, okay. Oh, whoa!
Yeah, he's straight onto the 2 cores, but the gobble up save. The play there, the second
next chrono
will
though.
come in, catches 3 of them, and Lumiere's killed off the Void Spirit. No heroes for OG left now. They've all been destroyed by Lumiere. The Razor, he's in a 1v5, stuck in between the Hokori heroes. Tried to static link back onto Analog, and he's incredibly tanky with his Satanic and Hard, but Lumiere's got the damage to bring him to his knees. Yuragi and Amar, 2 versus 4 now. And Hokori,
no chronos, but it's like you say, 2 versus 4 is no chronos enough to take this fight.
There's 2 tombstones still on the floor as well. And this Time Walk Aghanim Scepter with a Time Lock's landing is incredibly irritating. Lumiere just jumping back and forth, but he's a Blitzer bladed up. The stun from Yuragi and the damage from the Razor, but look at how much Hokori can push onto Yuragi's Alk. He's about to fall through his BKB and dead for 100 seconds.
It should just be GG now. Nobody to defend the base here. Except for Amaz Razor, all by his lonesome self.
Try as he might, you cannot fight against Hokori's 4 members in your base. Down goes the Razor. Tier 4's cracked open now. And GG called. Hokori tied up 1-1. It was a very close game, though.
Honestly, what a dirty game. This was so much fun to watch. OG, it felt like they were out of this game for a while at some point, and then suddenly they won an insane team fight and were, in the driver's seat for a bit. But at some point, all it took was Hokori to land some of these chronospheres. I think that high ground push at the end, what Lumiere does, he just keeps time walking in and then like reverse time walking back as if to like be like, okay, let's just see who's there.